YouTube friends. It's a beautiful autumn day and I'm outside doing a little bit of light farm work. I have the company of a couple of dogs. There they are, being quite good. We're out in the pasture. Yesterday, Adam brought home, let me turn around, there. He brought home the pavers to make that lovely fire pit. And now we're waiting on a center metal ring to go inside of the pavers, and this will be a really nice fire pit spot. Let me show you what else I've been doing. I've been hunting down these 3 big black plastic rain barrels that you see behind me. They also, 2 of them have kind of a meshy grid lid. There's also a couple of solid lids. Anyway, they've been sitting around the farm. We were going to use them for rain collection, for watering stuff, and it never really turned into much of a system. But my brother told me last week when I was up at his farm that he has barrels like this on his farm, keeps them full of water, just rainwater, any water, and he buys simple goldfish at the pet store, nothing fancy, and puts them in there, and then allows the mosquitoes to lay eggs on the top, which they do, and then the fish just eat them, and the fish get bigger, but don't get too big for the barrels. They gauge their growth, I think, according to the size container they're in. And they grow a little bit. I'm hearing my chickens over there. Anyway, we have a lot of mosquitoes, and I think we've got 3 barrels like this just sitting around doing nothing. I think this would be a great idea. And so I'm going to ask Adam if he can pick up, maybe 18 goldfish, 6 for each barrel when he goes to town. They last over the winter. It doesn't get too hot for them here. You don't have to do anything to them. So we're going to see how that works. Let me show you what else I've been doing this morning. While I was gone to West Virginia, Adam really cleared up this gate that I was working on last time and mowed all around it, and it looks wonderful. And he wanted to drive the van through that gate to take those pavers to the fire pit area. But when he pulled in here, he forgot about this big pile of wood chips. So today I've been using my shovel and I've been chipping away, working away at this, hauling it to my herb beds in a wheelbarrow. Let me show you that. Here's my herb bed, and I'm filling it full of mulch, and it's going to be much healthier next year for my basil and other herbs. So that's what I've been doing outside. Well, the fire pit has arrived. The ring has. And it's taller and wider than Adam was expecting. So it's going to look a bit like this when it's done. But he's going to have to dig the ring into the ground so that it'll rest right on those pavers. And he also needs to get about 2 more pavers. So it'll go all the way around. But I think it's going to be a very nice looking fire pit. Yep, very happy with that. I think this video is going to be about farm work. I've gotten back outside because the weather is cooling. And so I've been hauling some mulch, dumping it in my herb beds, trying to fortify them. They're getting kind of pitiful, and I have plans for my herb beds, maybe removing one of mine if I can transplant some of the perennials out of there. I need to research that. We're also working out in the pasture with some water barrel ideas, fire pit ideas. So anyway, I'll take you along on that. All right? Thanks. Oh, I meant to add that I have been struggling to organize myself since my husband got this new job where he's gone all day long. He leaves at 6:30 and gets back at 4:30 every day. And for some reason, I don't know why, having him in the house every day before kept me on task or made me feel more productive. I can't figure out what's going on with this. I do not understand my own head. All I know is that since he's gone back to work, I've struggled to organize my days in a way that feels like I'm getting things done in a way that I want to. I find myself distracted by the outdoors, and I go do yard work, and then I don't do the things inside I should do. And I don't mean vacuuming, I mean like spinning and painting. I don't know what's wrong with me. So anyway, this week I have a schedule, okay? So today, see, it's already, what is it, like 8, going on 8:30? I haven't really started yet. I'm making a video, that's good. But I'm supposed to do rollags this morning and painting. I think I want to do rollags first. I've got all this beautiful Spinnery Store fiber, finished my sweater, and haven't been spinning after that. So that's this morning, and then this afternoon I have some other responsibilities with friends. at church. Tomorrow on the schedule, you seen it, T for Tuesday, warp up, okay? That means I'm going to warp up, and Diana, this is for you. I'm going to warp up that green yarn on my loom and start that scarf. I just, you know, I'm going to have to do a little something like this to hold myself accountable. Otherwise, I just muck about all day doing a little laundry. And then Adam comes home and he asks me, well, what was the most fun thing you did today? And I was like, I don't really know. So we're going to be more productive. I'm going to get off of here and I'm going to work on some roll legs. Okay. Thanks for tolerating my mumble jumble. All right. It's time to make some roll legs again. I've got to start something new with spinning. But first of all, you have to make the yarn. Now, I have been thinking about this beautiful stuff here. And do you know that that is undyed? That is just a combination of various colors of sheep's wool merino. Isn't that beautiful? And then I pulled this out and I thought, oh, that's so pretty. Look, I wonder if I think this is the chocolate, maybe. Oh, boy, isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely. There's so much variety in there. There's even some kind of blue. Yeah, a little bit of orangey, light brown something. That's beautiful. I would love to put these two together without blending them too much, kind of maintaining their integrity separately. I don't want them just to become muddy, you know, mix, but boy, I just love that idea. That's very fallish. And then maybe also include, oh wait, that's the chocolate. I forget what this is. Here's the chocolate. Now, I don't want to include that because it would get lost. I want to keep it for its own use. But I'd love to include a little bit of the green. A little bit of the green. And this is looking a little more teal on the camera, but it's actually just an evergreen, a real evergreen. Okay. And then those are all very subdued colors, so I would need a little something to make it pop. I'm wondering if I need a little yellow, not big hunks of it, just a little bit, or should I use the orange? I keep coming back to that orange, that flame. It seems to go with everything. Why is that? I don't know. Anyway, that's what I'm looking at doing this morning. I'm going to make a bunch of roll legs and put them in a basket so that when it's time to spin, I'll be ready to go. Good morning. It's about 7:30 or so this morning. Lovely morning, cool outside. I've just tended to my chickens, and I'm going to do a little bit of yard work before I go inside and start my day in my studio. The traffic is going by with people going to work, so we're just going to have to tolerate the traffic noise, because if I wait for the cars to slow down, I'll be standing here for 30 minutes. So sorry about that. Let me show you what I've been doing, what's going on the farm this morning. It rained a lot last night, and the boards, the steps are slick, and the deck is slick. I kind of had to be careful coming down. This is how much rain we had last night. I left this wheelbarrow here yesterday, and it's, well, I don't know, a couple inches of rain. I didn't hear any of that. I slept right through it. Let me show you what I've been hauling in the wheelbarrow. Here's one of our 2 stinky dumpster trash cans that we put out on the road once a week. And it is full all the way to the bottom with these really tall weeds from my herb beds. I've been trying to clean up my herb beds. So let's go look at the herb beds and you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so you know this is the newer of my 2 herb beds. This is basil, so it's printy. It'll be coming out here in a few weeks. I don't even know if we want more basil, but I guess I could pick the remainder. So this is a part of the bed that could become something else next year. This is my thyme. And you see I've been putting this mulch, I'm trying to refill this bed so that the soil level will go all the way to the top. I sprinkled it in there. There's nothing in here now at all. I've got some, this is cilantro coming up. Look, there's a little tomato, oh my goodness. That is hilarious, look at that. Well, we'll eat that up. That was a Matt's wild cherry. So good. I may go ahead and pick this basil and pull it out. And the only other, besides the thyme, The only other perennial I have in here is down here. I have spearmint, which is wonderful. Oh, it's so good. But it tends to move. It started here, and every year it creeps elsewhere, kind of going this way. So my thinking is, this is a little pot of sedum here that does well. This is my first herb bed, and Adam put it in a horseshoe shape so that we could get into the middle and work on both sides of it, so the beds would be narrow enough for us. But he put this in here when he was still push mowing all of our property, all 3.5 plus acres. So there's a little bed there, and you see, once he got his riding mower, he can't get his riding mower through here. He can't get his riding mower in there. He can't get his riding mower through here either. And so he has to weed eat it because our push mower did finally die. So this bed has become kind of a nightmare. I was afraid to get very close to it. Well, that's an excuse. I didn't want to get close to it because it was hot. But he's now weed eated it so I can get into it, and I'm starting to weed out this section. And yesterday I weeded this section. There was weeds in there, and I got a bunch of spider bites while I was doing that, so I stopped. But I really want to remove this entire bed. I want to take out the plants that I want, which is the tarragon. This is a perennial tarragon bush, and I've got to research if it's easy to transplant this. And then I've got lemon balm, a huge area of lemon balm. And then this is so hilarious. This is my oregano. Now the oregano started over here, and it has moved as well. It's also been driven out by this horrible vine. Still a little bit of oregano in there trying to survive, but the oregano slowly moved around. You can see it's still in there. There's quite a bit in there. Slowly moved around and found a new home over here. So I would like to take out the tarragon, lemon balm, and oregano, or at least take out a good portion of it and transplant them. Goal is to research those three, get them moved, take out the edging, and then let Adam just start to mow it. Okay? And that would be the easiest way instead of weeding it so hard. I've got a rosemary there, and a rosemary there, and a rosemary back in the vegetable garden. All right, I'm going to keep on hauling mulch this morning in my wheelbarrow. I'm getting the mulch over there, and I'm going to continue to fill up this bed a little bit more. The other thing that has to happen, there's Ruru, is this, you can hardly call this a bed. This is an area of unmown yard. Now there's a lantana on this end, and somewhere in here is a sedum it's a short sedum that always gets buried. There's really not much else in here. I think there's some phlox that never, it struggles because it's so weedy. But so I need some sturdy shrubs in here. And I have at least 3 forsythia that I've started from slips and are in pots. And I think it's the time of year to put those in. I should read up on that too. So I've got some online research to do. Let me show you those forsythia. On the way to the forsythia, you can see that our fig tree is starting to, oh my goodness, yeah, the leaves are they're going to come off next time we have a decent storm. This will go bare all of a sudden. And then this is the window from my studio, and I love to be able to look out here. I like to look at the fig tree, but when it's bare, I can look all the way back there, and I can see my chickens in the orchard. I thought I heard geese. I do. Okay, let's go look at the forsythia. Okay, this one has some nice green growth. This one has a good bit. This one has a lot. So I think those 3 are probably ready to go in the ground now that we're having steady rain once or twice a week, and the weather is cool enough. I don't think it's going to stress them to put them in the ground, but I have to go get my shovel and dig that area that I showed you because it's just such a mess. Once I put at least three forsythia in that bed I was showing you, a second ago. I think that'll be plenty because the forsythia bush gets huge. This is the forsythia bush that I took those slips from. And when we first moved here a little over 6 years ago, you couldn't see this bush. The only way that I found out it was here was I saw its yellow blooms because it was obscured with vines and this was all overgrown over here. Not very accessible. And then I told Adam, there's a forsythia bush in there. Would you please help me clear that out? Now it's still, every year we have to strip the vines out of it. You can see it's got honeysuckle growing in it, and then whatever this mean vine is, it's very mean. And yeah, see how the honeysuckle has grown up all around it. So every year, usually I think in the spring, early in the spring, I get out here and get all the vines out. Okay, I'm gonna go work. All right, I'm making some progress on this bed. Here's the low-growing yellow lantana. I don't like that variety. It doesn't get big and tall, and it's easily dominated by weeds, which is my fault. But anyway, here it is, and I can tell now it's more contained to right here. I couldn't even tell where its origin was, which means that everything from here this way is just grass, and I'm gonna pull that out. I've also got some lovely vinca growing in here. It's a beautiful ground cover, and I hoped that it would take over, and nothing competes with that, which is just unmown grass. Okay, so then I dug out this spot. There's nothing in here. It's not a huge spot for a forsythia bush, but I may try to keep everything in here trimmed down better. I don't know. But if it takes over, that's fine with me. So I'm going to put one forsythia in here. This is, oh dear, now I've forgotten what it's called. Sedum. This is also a low-growing sedum. And you see how leggy it is. That's because it was competing with other things. I was kind of surprised to still find it in there. But it was trying to get to sunlight. The stuff here on the edges looks pretty good. I do have to be careful not to dig right along this edge of this bed because there are bulbs in there that are going to come up next spring, and I don't want to disturb them, so I'm kind of working back this way. So I'm going to trim back the sedum. It'll look ugly, it'll have little stalks, but it's already time for it to go to sleep this year, so that's fine. And I'm going to come trim this back. It's very leggy. Everything gets out of hand in the summer when I absolutely don't do anything outside in the sweltering sauna that we call the outdoors. All right, I'm going to do a little bit more work, and then I'm going to go inside and warp up my loom. It doesn't look like much still, but there's the, what's that called? Lantana. There's the lantana trimmed back. Here's the new forsythia put in. There's that terrible looking sedum with its awful haircut. And I've put wood chips, very, very well composed wood chips, down on top of them for the winter. I'll do the rest of that bed later. Hey friends, it's been a little while since I've mentioned this little life hack, I'll call it that. It's really kind of a very gentle personal mental health care kind of thing. When I'm in my studio, I often, almost instinctively, find myself doing something that appeals to all 5 of my senses. And this morning, this was so true, okay? Because there's a patter of light rain outside, which is so lovely. The air is cooling because we have a front coming through, so that feels good. And there's the sound of the rain. And so I am also, I'll take my camera and show you what's going on. I'm also spinning. And this is a very tactile activity, and the fiber feels good, the treadle feels good on my feet. It's almost mesmerizing to watch the wheel go round, and as I'm watching the wheel, I'm looking out the window at the fig tree and the rain. I also have a flickering candle over there, and that's that evergreen spruce scent. And so the whole room smells like a Christmas tree, which is not just a nice smell, but it's a smell that I associate with all kinds of wonderful things. So it just really does a nice you know, anti-anxiety number on my head. The other thing I'm doing, I can't really let you hear because YouTube would give me a copyright infringement if I played it for you. But I've also got a laptop going over here, okay? And I've got a bunch of yarn, fiber there too. But my laptop is playing some ambient music, Enchanting Autumn Forest with beautiful piano music. I have listened to this YouTube, this particular YouTube, over and over and over. I just pushed the refresh button on it. So I have things going on in my studio simultaneously that appeal to my hearing and my sight and the sense of touch. What are the other ones? Oh, the sense of smell. And I often also have something to eat, a little something. And I found myself, as I went through the kitchen, I've been thinking about doing this, but I try to do this very rarely. But I do make this homemade chocolate sauce. And I'm not sure if I do have a YouTube recipe for this. I'll post the link up there. But man, I don't think I do. Maybe I need to make this, okay? I'll check. This is a homemade chocolate sauce. It's my mother's recipe. And sometimes, because nobody else in the house eats it, I'll just get a little spoon, dip in there, get a little taste, or a bigger taste. Okay. And that gives you a lovely taste in your mouth. 15 minutes. I don't keep the jar in my studio. No, that's a big mistake. I put it back in the refrigerator, but I brought it in here so you could see it. I just, when I make it, I put it in little jars like this and just keep it in the fridge, and it lasts almost indefinitely because it has so much sugar in it. Boy, is it good. Anyway, all that to say, if you're feeling stressed, you know how they tell you if you're feeling like you're having an anxiety attack to find, 5 things you can touch and 4 things you can see and 3 things you can hear. You're grounding yourself in your senses, in your body, supposedly. But really just for any day, if you want a peaceful day to restore your kind of inner sanctum, then just find 5, appeal to your 5 senses as much as you can. Sometimes it just means adding that 1 extra sense. So if you're in your car and you're driving through a beautiful place, turn on some nice music. Or if you have the music on but you're driving an ugly route, take a different route that takes you past some trees and fields. And it can make a difference in your mood. Just a thought. Thanks. Well, I'm about to do something very important, and I thought I would just bring you along in this process. I have used up already this whole scented candle I got from TJ Maxx. It's called Sand and Fog. They had a lot of different scents. So now that I've used up the Sand and Fog, I'm going to light this one. I went candle hunting at Walmart the other day because I was desperate. Couldn't get to the big town where the better shopping is. And they actually, Walmart had those wood wicks candles that crackle, but they're very expensive. One of the big ones is $25. I was like, oh my goodness. So I went for, this is the Walmart brand. They also had Better Homes and Gardens candles. They were a little more expensive. These were cheaper. This is Mainstays. This is the Walmart brand, but they've got this new look. Let me show you the old one that they've had for years. Okay. So this is what I've been getting for a long time from Walmart. Is this? That is, yes, Mainstays. This is mulled cider. See, and that's the shape of that jar. Very much like a Yankee Candle jar shape with that kind of sealed suction rubber lid on top. Again, what do you do with this one? I could use that for a water jar too. The other thing that I bought, and I don't remember where I might have gotten this at the Yankee Candle store in Massachusetts. We did go one time. Beautiful store, so expensive. But I don't know where I got this, but this is a candle jar topper that I love. It's very fallish. I adore it. Actually, I used to get it out only in the fall, and I have a Christmas one too. Now I kind of leave this one on all year long because I love it so. So it sits atop these jars. Now that makes me wonder. I think the opening is small enough. Yeah, it could sit atop this one too. It doesn't glow. It's not, the light doesn't come through it, but it's just pretty. Anyway, I have that on the dining room table today. This is evergreen spruce. And boy, it smells, that's one of my favorite scents. I love this. I love the mulled cider. I do not like cinnamon roll candle scents, pumpkin candle scents, all there. There's a chemicalness to that. I just, makes me cringe. So I really do carefully smell my candles before I buy them. I tell you, I take forever to say anything, don't I? Okay. So we're going to light this one up. This will be for in my studio. My family, I think, are so used to my candle habits at this point in life. They don't even bat an eye, nor do they complain. They don't complain when I start Christmas music, which I have already done. Although I've got this ambient fall, autumn music on YouTube now that I've been listening to. Okay, so that's enough of candles. Please leave a comment below if you'd like to. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this channel, I'd love it if you would subscribe so I can see you here again. If you liked this particular video, then please click the thumbs up button, which tells me that you really like this particular content. There's also a little bell down there that will help you get notifications every time a new video comes out on my channel. Thank you.